247 Sports is listing Fran Brown as the best recruiter in the entire country. You may also remember he was the defensive backs coach at the defending national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. Chris Sanger is a 37-year-old golf instructor at Woodstock Golf Course. It's a small course. It doesn't even have a practice range.
Hopkins the complete opposite after getting a nice win on Friday.
Hopkins coming into this with sort of a commanding victory over UMass, whereas Syracuse, the last time they were on the SU Soccer Stadium, things didn't go quite as planned. Listen, Scott Teeter told us earlier in the week it's a one-game-at-a-time mentality for his team. He also knows the hill they have to climb going up against a top-5 team in the country.
Given that there is a game left and they could still get to a bowl game, it's unique.
It is unique, and I think the important part to also consider is as this coaching search is continuing to go on, there are still players here who have to finish out the season. Michael, one of the stipulations when a school transitions from Division II to Division I is that those student athletes have to sit out of the NCAA tournament for the next 4 years. It doesn't matter how good they are. I want to know what message you felt like you sent by resigning in support of him.
Well, the message is not so much in everything is we have to look at things differently nowadays.
This is people's livelihood. This is moments that they remember for the rest of their lives. Is having that championship, is having that ring, and is having that accomplishment that you chase with a bunch of people who you deeply care about. And the NCAA wants to take it away. I ask the group, for what?
NBC3 Sports is sponsored by Matthews Auto Group.
I went back to Canada, spent some time with my family, just to get my mind away from football.
Get away from the coaches, get away from each other, too. We're here all day, every day. It's a lot more grueling than people think because it's what we want to do our whole life, but it's very hard to do, and being away from each other is going to be helpful for us.
Well, it's a bye week that, in the eyes of the players, came at the perfect time. Welcome into sports, everyone. I'm Samantha Croston. The team went into this bye week with injuries and a bad taste in their mouths after losing 3 straight to Clemson, UNC, and most recently FSU. Good news is, on paper, the schedule technically does get easier from here. Going into their bye week, SU's first 3 conference opponents had won 88% of their games combined. Coming out of their bye week, SU's remaining conference opponents have won just 45% of their games collectively. So it is a big difference. And according to an ESPN metric, Syracuse actually has the easiest remaining schedule of any Power 5 team. But as we often find in college football, the numbers don't always tell the whole story. Syracuse's next opponent is Virginia Tech this upcoming Thursday. And let's just say the metric doesn't account for this environment that the Orange will be forced to play in. Introducing Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. And this Thursday, in prime time on national television, the Orange will be facing the Hokies in front of what is inching closer and closer to being a sellout crowd. But players on the team say these are the kinds of games they live for.
It's one of those environments like Florida State where you dream about playing in and playing a night game and sold-out crowd, and it's exciting. Obviously, we got to be prepared. It's going to be loud. It's more so affects the offense, right? So not going to be loud when we're on defense for their offense to concentrate, but it's going to be exciting playing in front of for sure.
Those are the games that you really play for, especially, you got a pretty even matchup, and they got a good squad, but that environment, especially a night game on a Thursday night, it's going to be ecstatic.
And mind you, this is a stadium that many players on the team have been successful in already. The last time Syracuse went to Lane Stadium in 2021, the Orange scored 21 points in the 4th quarter on their way to a 41-36 win over the Hokies. So we'll be reminding fans how that game played out later in the week. But man, you guys, what a tough place to play.
Yeah, let's just hope we stay in this game right to the end, then sneak out a win.
Liz and Dan Evans normally opt to sit near the end line of the field.
Tonight, we've shifted a little bit closer to the middle.
The couple usually wears matching attire to represent their daughter on the field. But in this case, they're representing 2 different schools.
I said we better split it up, so that's how we decided to go this way.
The reason for the seat and wardrobe change is that the Evans' 2 daughters played against each other for the first time in their high school careers.
Sisters Emily and Maddie started in goal.
one daughter planted in each cage.
They were field players young, and then they just evolved into being a goalie, and when they were in the goal they did such a great job, and coaches identified that and they just stuck with it.
Emily is a senior and the starting goalkeeper for their hometown, Skinny Atlas. Madison is a freshman who transferred into Christian Brothers Academy this year for the academics and a better shot at playing collegiately.
Yeah, Maddie! To have that moment is special on its own if there were two sisters playing on opposing teams, but to have two sisters playing at, in my opinion, the most important position in our sport and starting against each other, that's, I mean, that won't happen again.
It's a unique situation. Together, 3, ready, 1, 2, 3. Together! One Madison's head coach, Pat Britton, says he's never seen in his 13 years with CBA, and his new player understood the moment.
I was like sort of like wanting to get the win because it's against my sister and she's like older. It's just, we're really competitive with each other, but like at the same time I didn't care if we won or lost because it was like still like a surreal experience. Like you never really get to play like a sibling.
An experience Madison will remember forever. After all, the reason she became a goalie in the first place was because she watched her big sis do it first.
I like looked up to her. She was always my role model, and like she started playing and I thought it was cool. And plus like you're the last person like that everyone's counting on.
I think it's really cool and really inspiring, honestly, for me that she looks up to me that much and that I've had that much of an impact on her. And I really hope she continues with it because I think she could be a really good goalie.
Rivals on the field from the first whistle to the handshake line, but having each other's best interests no matter what, and always hoping one another succeeds. In Syracuse,
Hi guys!
I'm Samantha Croston.